Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Intuitive Messages for the Collective. This week, it's very interesting because I had recorded one message, ready to release, and then got a different message to share with all of you. So this is always funny when this kind of stuff happens because the messages that are shared with me are usually very timely. Like they're not only just appropriate for me to hold and meditate on and to really pray over, but also that it's intentionally offered to help you and to help provide some guidance and thought and, et cetera for you. So this week's message has to do with a response to the very chaotic energy that is in the world at this moment. I recognize there have been a significant number of painful, frustrating, angry, rightfully so, justified feelings of what is going on. And the painful pieces of that story are kind of being played out between people, among people. I'm sure many of you are familiar with feeling this angst and also having difficult conversations or at least difficult thoughts to be able to try to share with others about how you feel about what has been going on in the world and more specifically in the United States. So with that, this message comes with a call for how to move through circumstances and situations in this way because there is such volatile energy. And again, if you follow astrology, there's a lot of astrology that is lining up that is pointing to why the collective energy is so heightened and moving through it in a way that feels really fragile and sensitive. But the thing that I wanted to share and that Spirit has shared with me has to do with knowing and recognizing the responsibility that we each hold, that we each are creations of the Creator, however you understand or identify and name Creator, Source, God, Spirit, whatever language resonates for you and is relevant in your life, but that you hold a likeness to the Creator within yourself. And that likeness is rooted in and has always been rooted in love. And that love is the guiding principle for those who are conscious and aware and are truly trying to grow and heal what is happening in our world. And I've been really sitting with in my own prayer and meditation about how do I hold myself through these circumstances and also then support the collective. I am an Aquarian. Perhaps you didn't know that about me, but I feel very strongly about the collective energy and what is happening kind of in the collective space. And something that a friend of mine and I were talking about recently, we were really reflecting on the fact that love and light is within us. And that in these dark moments, one of the most impactful things that we can do is shine our light brighter. That the light that is us and that we share has to be like ramped up, turned up, really allowing that sense of light to be reflected into the world with more of that warmth and that love and that type of energy. And we were reflecting on the concept of a lighthouse. So I'm not into sailing or really much of a nautical person, but I know the basic functions of a lighthouse, and it serves primarily as a few things, right? It's like a navigational aid. It helps those sailors sort of determine where they are kind of in, on the ocean. It's also a warning system that they're placed in various locations that are maybe more rocky or shallow or even hazardous to warn ships to stay away or to, veer away from that area. And the unique characteristic of the lighthouse is that it shines a light so that those at sea can see the light. And, the various cadence or the sequence of how it flashes, from what I understand, is it kind of tells different locations or it sends different messages or things like that. So if I'm incorrect about that, please forgive me. But I'm understanding the concept of this light is responsible for communicating a message. And it is truly through being in our light and recognizing then we too have a responsibility to shine this light out and be that beacon so that others can not only see our light, but recognize it, and to align ourselves with that same lightness, that same trajectory of love and wholeness that light contains. So there really is, if there's one message that I can offer you about what and how do I move through this moment in time, it's to hold the light, be the light. And sometimes that is harder because we are starting perhaps with just our own sphere of influence, the places and the people and the circumstances with which are in our own sphere, that's where we can begin. And some of us are going to be called to broadcast that light further into other circles outside of our sphere of influence, into wider pools of people and circumstances and situations. We all have a role to play in that. And it feels important that at the end of the day, when maybe you feel a bit paralyzed or confused or not just and clearly hurt and angry and appropriately so about so many things that feel really off kilter, that you and I collectively, if we can hold the light and shine it a bit brighter, perhaps others too will take pause and will see that light being reflected out in you and will then be encouraged and motivated to turn into their own light and shy away from the darkness, right? Because light exposes darkness. It shines this brightness onto things that are not to be seen or not to be exposed, right? It creates more awareness and a greater understanding. And that, I really believe, in the midst of so much happening and true chaos that is occurring in our world, we are being asked to look at these pieces of ourselves. Look at this wholeness of light that is within you and hold it. Hold it bright. Hold it with confidence and purpose, and allow it to really be that beacon that someone else can see and recognize and take hope in. So friends, thank you for joining me for this week's message. It does feel very important, and I am joining you in our pursuit to hold the light. Until next time.